Today we'll be looking through the official strategy guide for Zelda Majora's Mask. Here is the cover, and I'm really excited to look through this. I actually haven't played this game in quite a while, so it'll be a nice refresher for me. And this game, I would say, is very unique compared to other Zelda games. You have a unique time travel aspect, and overall it's just a darker Zelda game. So let's open it up. And this guide is split into two videos because this is pretty lengthy. Alright, so let's get started with introducing the cast of characters. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit in case you want to follow along. Alright, so starting off, we have our main character, of course, and that is Link. So here he is, with his sword and shield, and let's see what it says. Ever the Quiet One, Link rides out after freeing Hyrule from Ganondorf's savage rule, and begins to step away with his ever-trusting horse, Epona. Attacked by the Skull Kid, he is left in a different form, without his horse or his ocarina. Zora Link. The brave soul of the lead singer, Mikau, is captured in the mask of the Zora, allowing Link to transform into his body and bestow him with the powers to swim, breathe underwater, and his impressive battle tactics. And so here he is. Deku Link is next, and I always thought he was really cute. Definitely the lightweight of all the transformational masks, Deku offers little in the way of combat readiness. However, his greatest strength lies in the ability to use Deku flowers as launchers, as well as fly long distances. And then Goron Link. Darmani III was the proud warrior of the Goron people until his death. Following this, he encounters Link and gives him his power through this mask. His rolling, pounding, and ability to withstand heat should not be forgotten. Fierce Deity Link. The Fierce Deity mask is given to Link after giving away all his masks and facing Majora's mask. This mask endows Link with the evil power of this deity, which wields a giant sword as both a defensive item and an offensive weapon. As this creature, Link will fire discs out of the end of his sword when his mana is charged. Skull Kid. Here is the mask, Majora's Mask. A thief who seems to have lost his friends, he happens across the Happy Mask salesman and steals the evil known as Majora's Mask. Little did he know that the Happy Mask salesman prized possession would soon possess him. And Epona, Link's horse. Link's companion throughout his journey through Hyrule, now becomes a companion through this strange world of Termina, if only Link could find her. Tingle. A fairy child, much like Link himself, Tingle is 35, and sells maps for a living. These maps will provide a valuable resource on your trek. The Happy Mask Salesman. This man will teach you the Song of Healing early on, which will aid you considerably as you go along. Use the song on those requesting healing in order to acquire masks in their image, and try to retrieve the poor mask salesman mask before it causes too much harm. Tattle and Tail. Once friends of the Skull Kid, these two fairies, brother and sister, are now stranded from each other, and Tattle decides to help you get Skull Kid in order to save her brother. You can see them all here. All these fairies. Lulu. The lead vocalist for the band The Indigogos. Lulu seems to have lost her voice. It seems the eggs she gave birth to have been captured and somehow rendered her unable to speak. Elder Goron and his son. The Elder Goron is trying to save his people from the freezing cold, and thereby has left his son alone in the Goron shrine. The son misses him dearly, and only a lullaby will appease him. And now some items. So I think this is a breakdown of all the items you would come across in Majora's Mask. So I know this section is pretty long, so I'll just read what each item is. So bottles, and those are important to pick things up, of course, along your quest. Masks. They are essential in a land where getting behind a mask can give you special powers. There are 4 transformational masks that lend Link the ability to change into the form with which the mask holds, and 20 other miscellaneous masks with intriguing powers. Tingle maps, dungeon maps, compass, the ocarina, which is very familiar if you played Ocarina of Time. The swords. So swords are important in every Zelda game, and so are bows. Perhaps Link's favorite weapon, his archery, proves itself once again in this quest. He'll be able to fire not only his standard quiver of arrows, but also magically endowed arrows such as light, ice, and fire, which you can see down here. And then bombs will be helpful. Bomb chews, Deku sticks, Deku nuts, a hook shot to help you move around, a lens of truth, different potions, which will be helpful as well, magic beans, a pictograph box, and Goron powder cakes. Now you'll come across a lot of enemies in this game. And here you can see it outlines some of them. And now I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't want to give them away. So you just have to make sure you are prepared to fight them. Majora's Mask is one of them. Sea Snake, Star Child, Twin Mold, Master, Armos, Beamos. There are a lot of enemies. This section will help you to get familiarized with your surroundings in the game itself, but it also shows you exactly how to get the Ocarina of Time back so that you can move through the 3 days cheating time. So before I move any further, I just wanted to mention this game is a little bit different than other Zelda games because it does have a unique time travel mechanic. So it operates on a 3-day cycle and you're able to manipulate time. So toward the beginning you'll meet up with Skull Kid, who we looked at earlier in this video, and you'll get united with Tattle, who will be your companion. There he is. And right now you're actually going to be Deku Link, which we looked at earlier. So you will not be your normal Link self at this point in the game. So you'll just learn how to do some things, of course, in the beginning of the game. Then you'll come across the Happy Mask Salesman, another character that we looked at, and you'll obtain the Ocarina of Time. So this is Clock Town, which is a good name for it. And then shortly after that, you will come across your first fairy. You must grab the fairy and return it to the fairy fountain to get the bubble weapon for Deku Link. And by the way, it looks like, this is broken up into sections, so we're on part 1, the Ocarina of Time. And then inside the observatory, and gaining access to the clock tower. That's right, so you must now complete the first portion of the exchange relay to reach the clock tower. To do this, take the moon's tear to the Akindo nut in the square. When he gets the tear, he'll hop off the Deku flower, which you can then use to cruise on up to the clock tower. And of course, if you never played this game, none of this makes sense, but I will say this guide is very detailed and worth having if you ever want a physical guide. Alright, so then retrieving the Ocarina of Time, and then you face Skull Kid right there. And then there's just a note here about how to defeat him. And why don't we remind ourselves, what is the Ocarina of Time? The Ocarina is a remnant from the previous Zelda title that lent special powers to Link in this world. You will learn various songs on this instrument that will help Link enter new areas and extend his range of skills. Most important is the Song of Time, also a piece of nostalgia from the last episode. This song will cause a time warp effect, sending you back to the first day and renewing your 72-hour limit. Keep in mind that by playing this tune, you will lose all rubies, bombs, arrows, Deku nuts, Deku sticks, and other limited items. Notably, dungeons will also be reset. So when I referred to it sometimes being frustrating, that's what I meant. Alright, and then moving on to part 2, Woodfall. In this section, you will visit the Deku Palace and solve several mini-quests, including finding Koume, taking a boat ride, and using the pictograph to take a picture of the Deku King. You'll also meet the monkey in the cage, who will teach you a song and tell you how to enter Woodfall Temple. By talking to the Happy Mask Merchant again, you can gain the ability to cure evil magic, such as the magic that holds you as a Deku, and turn it into masks that you can use. Ultimately, this enables you to change form from a Deku to Link, to a Zora, and also a Goron. And again, you would have different abilities with each of the masks, and that will ultimately help you win the game. Okay, so it looks like this is more about getting to Windfall, the southern swamp, and then the owl statues, the pictograph. Oh yeah, there's a heart piece on top of that. But yeah, you won't be able to reach that until later. The hag and the potion shop, so you want to check that out. And then the Deku Palace, so the palace is chock full of tasks that you must accomplish. First, you must meet the Deku King and get a picture of him. You'll then learn about the monkey, who's accused of kidnapping the Deku princess. Ultimately, your goal is to reach the imprisoned monkey, which will require some fancy plant growing on your part. Note, once inside the chamber, take a picture of the Deku King with your pictograph. This will win you the pictograph contest and another heart piece. And the monkey, so you'll definitely want to talk to the monkey, as it said. And this is where you'll buy the beans that you'll plant, pick up at least one bean, and some water from the spring. These are mandatory. Now to the Woodfall Temple. There is a small section where you move toward the Woodfall Temple, but it's important because you will learn the Song of Soaring. The song enables you to move through the game using the owl statues as teleporters of sorts. So you'll have to raise the temple by playing the Sonata of Awakening by the owl statue as a Deku. Okay, here's a map. And then Woodfall Temple. So this just walks you through the inside. You must now enter the Woodfall Temple and work through several quests on your way to rescuing the Deku Princess. In addition, you must save the monkey that the Deku King has morbid plans for. Now getting the compass is next. And let's see, it gives a tip down here. You can conserve Deku sticks by swinging your sword after accomplishing your task with a Deku stick. This tactic prevents your Deku sticks from being depleted. Remember that Deku sticks will dwindle as they burn. Alright, so you're still going through the temple, and you'll see a mini boss, Gecko, and then defeating him will get you the boss key. Note, to defeat the two bosses, Take a poke or two at the gecko with your sword, and he'll call his turtle for reinforcements. As Deku Link, hop inside a flower and hit him when he's above you. After knocking him off the turtle, quickly switch masks back to Link and shoot him with your bow. Repeat this process until you've hit him 3 times, after which you'll open the pathway to the boss key. And then the first boss, the final boss of this temple, Adowa. He's one mean puppy. However, when you defeat him, you'll receive one of the guardian masks, and that is needed to defeat the game. And then you now end up talking to the Deku Princess, who you can put in a bottle and then take back to the Deku King. And then we'll be moving on to Goron Village and Snowhead. So I guess let's look through this part. I'm trying to see where I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I guess we'll look through this part and then maybe stop after that. So Goron Village and Snowhead. In this section you'll be getting your hands on the Goron mask, which, like the Deku mask, will give you an entirely new set of powers and abilities by changing you into a Goron. You will then be guided through to the entrance of the Snowhead Temple, the second of the 4 temples you must complete to emerge victorious in the game. So you got another map. Entrance to the Snowhead Temple. And then Smithy's house, Goron Village. Okay. Let's see. Pink. That's right. So yeah, you'll need bombs to take out the snowballs that block your way. And then it just says make sure you buy some at the bomb shop in the clock town before venturing out. So yeah, don't forget that. Alright, and then the Lens of Truth. So you do that. Reading the Goron Grave. You get the Goron Mask. You'll learn the Goron Lullaby. Okay, yeah, and then thawing the outer Goron. You must quickly take the hot water to the outer Goron and thaw him out. So that is how you'll learn the Goron Lullaby. And then down here it says, warning, if you take too long to get to the frozen Goron with the hot water, it will cool, so don't dilly-dally. And then why do you need the lullaby? It will be used to quell the spirit of the Goron sun, so learning it is important. And then the Tanjiro's mask, you'll get that. And then you get prepared for the next temple, the Snowhead Temple. So this is the final approach to the Snowhead Temple, the second temple you must complete. And then this section actually takes us through a Snowhead Temple, and it also points out where all 15 fairies are. This is the initial portion of the temple, and will get you started on the quest to complete the section. Besides showing you what the temple is like, these first areas also contain the locations of a few fairies. So you'll want to get a key, which is obviously always an important part of a temple. And then the compass, so just like other compasses, this one shows you the locations of the boss key, which you'll need, as well as treasure chest locations. There's a unique area with large icicles hanging from the ceiling. If you move too close to them, they'll fall and damage you considerably. So then it just gives you some tips on how to enter to capture a fairy. Mini boss fight, Wizrobe. The mini boss. And then you'll come across some enemies, of course, and a fairy, and then get the boss key. And as it points out, the next series of events is complicated. It involves moving through various rooms in the temple while performing a number of tasks that will ultimately lead you to another fight with Wizrobe. Really walking you through every part. And then you have the mini boss guide here. You do have to fight him again, but then you'll also get another pair of fairies. And then finally, the boss of Snowhead. So you'll battle the boss, a giant mechanical bull that runs in circles while you try to wear him down as a Goron. It's a blast. So hopefully it won't be too challenging for you. And what is this section? Getting up to Snuff. This is part 6. So I think I might stop here. So in the next video we'll have part 6. So getting up to Snuff, then Great Bay Temple, Icona Canyon, Stone Tower Temple, yeah, and then the end. Let's just check what's in the back here. I want to see if there's anything important for the beginning of the game. Okay, this just goes through the mask. And this is just more stuff in the appendix. Some more clues and different things to help you. Okay, so yeah, let's stop here and then pick up on the next video. So I hope you enjoyed the first part of this strategy guide, and I'm looking forward to completing it in part 2. Thanks for listening.